All right, so we are being, recording has started. So welcome everybody to the July Oakdale Area Chamber of Commerce meeting. It's really nice to see everybody, and I know takes a lot of time out of people's days, but if anything, it's nice to see everybody. It's a little different than obviously the mingling and the having good food and whatever, but this will have to do for the time being. Welcome to the meeting. As people come on, we'll see if the mayor is coming on and if Stan will be coming on. But first, what I want to do before I'm going to throw it over to Brandon just to give a little hello. But before I do that, I would like to start, and I'll name your name. If you would just say your name and the business that you are representing. So I'm going to go on my screen as left to right. Frank
Barcelo, Cavalier Barbers, Board of Directors. Been here for 42 years, 35 years, 38 years, awesome. Forever. I don't remember not being here.
Okay, and then I'm Holly with Apollo Heating and Air. And Paul?
Paul Tillman, pastor of Heartwood Church.
Perfect. Let's swing back a little, one more. And then Paul Balafants?
Yeah, Paul Belfons, I'm a treasurer of the chamber. Burke Wheeler and Rolling is a company, and I don't know how many years. Not as many as Frank.
Nobody is as many as Frank. Nobody.
Excuse me.
Okay, and Kim?
I'm Kim Prayfrock with Oak Meadow Senior Living, and we've been members for over 22 years.
Fantastic. Kevin?
Me? Hi, Kevin Zabel, Oakdale City Council.
Hi, Kevin. Tony Schwartz. Well,
Tony Schwartz, eXp Realty, and I have been here as long as Frank has.
Fantastic. And Tony is actually—
Yeah, you were. That's right.
Oh my gosh, you're... Kim, how many openings do you have in memory care?
None. But I'll make room.
Eric?
Hi, I'm Eric Morley with Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. I've been a chamber member for 6 years, since the year we opened our business.
Fantastic. John?
John Larson, Board of Directors, 20 plus years.
See, looking good, John. You got lots of hair going on. You look different every time I see you.
I'm trying to improve.
Oh, you're funny. Larry?
Larry Everhard, Keller Williams Realty.
Kim?
Hi, Kim O'Brien, the St. Paul Area Chamber of Commerce, and part-time staff to y'all.
Yep. Angie?
I had to unmute myself. Angie Propp with Highland Bank. I've been with the chamber since '94. That dates me.
Christina, welcome.
Hi, Chris Volkers, new city administrator in Oakdale. Glad to be here.
Congratulations on your new position, Chris.
Thanks.
Mark?
There we go. Mark Cove, Platinum Bank, but like Angie, just a little bit behind her, about 3 years, 1997 is when my start date would have been.
Okay. William?
Hi, I'm William Johnson. I'm a candidate for Minnesota State House in 53A. Kim just a few minutes ago invited me to join. I wanted to have an opportunity to meet you all and get to know you a little bit more.
Well, thank you. We got 2 guests today. Not guests, but hopefully new members. And which order am I going here? Oksana, are you on yet?
Yes, I am.
So Oksana, we're just doing an introduction in the businesses.
Okay. Oksana Kushnerik from Treestone Financial Federal Credit Union, and we joined in 2017.
Nice to see you, Oksana.
Thank you.
People are moving around here. Bob Stejich? Bob? How about Brandon? How are you?
Hey, good morning. Brandon Newman with Edward Jones. Sorry, I can't get my video working, but yeah, I've been here for, I think, 5 or 6 years, about as long as Eric Morley, kind of my benchmark.
Fantastic. We'll go over to Ben. Ben, we're just doing an introduction in your business.
Well, I screwed up. Ben Smetna, Thanks Chiropractic.
Hey, Ben. How about Margaret?
Yep, Margaret Tosher, Citizens Community Federal, or CCF Bank in Oakdale. I've been there, it'll be 3 years in October. I'm the mortgage loan officer there.
Fantastic. We're getting a few more people. How about Jake? Jake, we're doing introductions. Is that everybody, Kim?
I don't know. Did anybody not get a chance to introduce themselves?
I think that's everybody. I think Jake is probably the only one, but he didn't unmute himself.
Jake and Bob.
Yeah, Bob Stiglich.
I think Paul Tillman, did he, either.
Yeah, he chatted it. He came in and said he's starting a blood drive, so he's going to be in and out of the meeting. So I think we're good. Let's go ahead and keep moving.
Okay. And like I said, we're going to be going through like a little timeline here if the mayor and Stan come back on. But next, I was just going to throw it over to Brandon, our vice president. And he said he didn't have a camera today, but just Brandon to say hi and a little welcome.
Yeah, hey, I'm still in my jammies, actually, is the truth. So, anyway, enjoying being here.
That's
Looking
right.
at you guys all dressed up, and Ben at a rock concert, it looks like. So Ben, at least somebody's partying here for the weekend. Hey, welcome everybody. It's glad to have you. Thanks for making the effort, and really just looking forward to what Tony has to say here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. So we're at 1:45. Now, Kim, I just want to make sure, like, on my screen it's full, but is there a way to go over or down, or is everybody on one screen?
I think everybody's on one screen on mine. We have 20 participants on the call right now.
That would add up the math then, 4 times 5. Jake, are you busy? How about Bob Stieglitz? Are you available? All right. Well, what do you think, Tony? Do you want to go ahead and if the mayor and then pop in, we'll do them towards the end?
Yeah, well, do we have any other agenda items, any announcements or anything that we need to go over with the general membership?
Yep. Kim has the one about the Vikings. If she wouldn't mind doing that on behalf of the whole chamber, I asked her to do that.
Yeah, hi everybody. So I wanted to invite everybody to participate in an exciting event that we have coming up. It's in partnership with all of the metro area chambers of commerce and the Minnesota Vikings. I hope you guys have all seen that in communications. Thanks, Dr. Ben, for putting it in tidbits. But this is a great opportunity in a time where our chamber really, our Oakdale area chamber really needs to fundraise. It's an opportunity to fundraise, and it's also an opportunity to network with other chambers in our market. It's on July 16th. It is a virtual event with the Minnesota Vikings, Vikings management, and also Vikings, at least one Vikings player will be on the call giving kind of a preview of the upcoming football season. And there will be prizes for people who are probably not everybody, but prize drawings for Vikings prizes. The tickets, if you buy them through our chamber website, oaccmn.org, it's $25, and 100% of those proceeds come back to our chamber. So it's a fun, great way to kind of, people are kind of hungry for sports, hear from the Minnesota Vikings, and network with our fellow chamber community and raise money for our chamber. So I encourage everybody to please visit our website and register for that event, July 16th. I want to say it ends at 11:30. So not either 9:30 to, I think it's 10:30 to 11:30. Sorry. Are there any questions about that event that I can answer for anyone?
No, I would just like to encourage everybody to participate in that, because again, that $25 comes back to the organization. It should be a fun event to attend, and for 25 bucks, again, we had to cancel a number of our fundraiser events this year. So everything that we can do to participate in that event will help the organization.
And there is a limited amount of tickets, so just definitely encourage you, and we'll be pushing it out in the tidbits, and any questions, I'm sure Kim would be able to answer. So anybody else have any little announcements before Tony starts?
Hey, real quick,
You know,
Paul, thinking,
go ahead.
Just in the light of if Mayor Ranke isn't here, we do have two councilmen on. Maybe they might have something to add from the city perspective, or Christina.
Yeah, true. Christina, did you have something? Then I'll ask Kevin.
Well, being I'm in my 4th day, I think I should defer to Kevin at this point, and Jake.
Welcome again. Kevin?
Does anybody have any questions that I can answer? Come on, Chris. That's why we hired you. Take the hard questions.
Okay, warn me ahead of time.
Typically what the mayor does is just kind of an overview of anything that's pertinent that's going on in the city right now that that we should be aware of, or kind of an update on developments and different stuff like that. So I know this is certainly off the cuff and probably very difficult to pull out of the hat, but if there's anything that comes to the top of any of your guys' heads that you could talk to us about, that would be great.
Yeah, so the perhaps the topic of most interest to the chamber over the next month or so, you may have seen some news in the last week about cities and counties receiving funding from the U.S. Federal CARES Act that trickled through the state of Minnesota, and Governor Walz allocated it out to cities and counties. Oakdale, the amounts are based on a per capita basis. So Oakdale receives about $2.1 million, and that money can go to a wide array of possible uses, reimbursing the city for COVID-19 costs. There's also a provision in there related to possible grants for small businesses in Oakdale. So that's obviously something we will be looking at. City staff is working on pulling all of the guidance from the U.S. Treasury Department and Minnesota Management and Budget together to figure out specific areas that we can use that money. And so they'll be working on that over the next few weeks, and then hopefully we'll have something by the end of July to roll out, and hopefully business grants will be a part of that. So we'll figure out all those numbers, keep an eye out for that. Obviously we'll work with Alyssa McLeod to get any communications out from the city channel as well as OACC. So it's kind of it's a newer topic that was thrown at us within the last week or so. And so, trying to work on guidance from the federal and state levels, it's going to take a little time to dig through that. So there will be lots of information coming out related to that, and hopefully lots of business relief for Oakdale businesses.
That's great. Anything else from anyone else from the city that they'd like to add?
I'm obviously not from the city, but I do just want to make mention that I think today at 5 p.m. is the deadline to apply for the Minnesota DEED Small Business Grant Program. So I want to make sure everybody, who is eligible knows about that program. It's a $10,000 grant. So I want, make sure our Oakdale area can take advantage of that opportunity. And the deadline is today at 5.
That's good to know, Kim. And I think that application is fairly simple too, if people want to apply for it. And then what do they do? They're doing it as a lottery, basically. Whoever gets approved, they put them in a lottery and draw. So
correct.
If you
Yeah.
haven't done well with your tickets, maybe you just skip. No, I'm just kidding. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you had to share like what your struggles were and why, like that you had to.
Right.
I'm saying it
Right.
wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then they want your information from the last quarter of last year to, income sales information from last quarter of 2019, the same quarter of 2020. And then I think what they do is go through all those questions and all that stuff and then determine who's who are the top eligible ones. Then they put them in a pool and draw 'em. So, but what the heck, you know?
Opportunities there.
Yeah, might as well go for it, right?
Yep.
Okay, Madam Chair, if I may, I've been curious about the development up at the Imation property up at the north end of Oakdale. And I talked to Bob Streeter yesterday, and he gave me a tentative plan of what's going to happen up there. And so it's my understanding, Kevin, you might be able to back me up on this. I think it's in the end of August and the first part of September, they're going to start moving ground. Is that correct?
Yeah, so long process. Lennar Homes is essentially the contractor for it.
Right.
They submitted a design plan in strict conformity with what the city worked on with the previous development. So they're ready to go on the design front. And Frank, I think your timeline sounds about correct. Later this fall, they'll start some of the grading work. They've changed their focus a little bit. You know, previously they were going to start in the northwest corner with the single family homes. They might be starting on the parcel closer to the Imation campus now. It doesn't really matter from a city's infrastructure perspective. But
There's
yeah,
something like 3,000 homes going in. Is that correct?
Let me think. I think it's 1,100 units of multi-housing and roughly 400 of single-family housing. So I think
people. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up.
Yep. Yeah, they're ready to move forward. It's been a slight delay, just trying to get laborers out here to do the work. With the real estate crunch everywhere and inventory crunch. But they're ready to move ahead. They'll be slowly going through the platting process, which will involve the planning commission, and we'll just keep it moving forward. So.
Thanks for bringing that up, Frank.
You're welcome.
All right. Tony, let's see.
So in light of Alyssa not being here too, I think we should give a little bit of an update on the marketing committee. There's not a ton of stuff to report. There are some things that the organization is looking at doing, but one of our biggest concerns, obviously for everybody and for the organization, has been the lack of the inability for us to do our fundraisers this year. So we are working on something that we can do in the fall. We've come up with some different ideas. Angie and I talked in depth about another golf tournament. And again, the difficulty with the social distancing and stuff of doing golf tournaments right now, just and the money that it costs to golf. I think a lot of people are going to still be kind of coming out of the financial implications of COVID. So we didn't think that was a great idea, but we are considering looking at doing a fall fling. I always want to say fall spring fling, but a fall fling, kind of similar to what we did, our concept with the spring fling is, but maybe doing this where we don't have to, not doing it as a raffle, just doing it as a donation to come and meet and get together, still have the restaurants participate in giving out food, maybe do something outside, get a tent. So we're kind of looking at those ideas. So if anybody has any feedback or comments or ideas on something that we could do as a additional fundraiser, because as you know, our Holiday Helping Hand program is going to need, all the dollars that we can give to it that we've given in the past, this coming year especially. And, same with the scholarship programs and stuff like that. So we want to try to be able to continue to fund those programs. So please, keep your eyes and ears open. Let us know if you have any ideas. And also, as we start finalizing some things, we hope that everyone can participate in whatever we come up with. I don't know if Angie or Holly or if anyone else has any comments or on that, but.
Hey, Tony, it's Angie. I just got invited to one that I thought was very interesting. And I'm just going to throw it out there. I have no idea logistically how this would work. But it was a wine tasting via Zoom. And you registered and paid for and got mailed to you 3 bottles of wine. And then they were having a wine person do the Zoom, if you will, talking about the tannins and the sugars and the blah, 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 blahs of the wine. And I thought that was very interesting. And it was a fundraiser, so you paid a little extra for it. But I thought, how fun.
That would be We'll have to talk to Terry about that. We can maybe do that or a scotch or do something like that. But
That's what I thought.
you know, the best part of that whole deal, the biggest thing I always think about when we do spring fling is, you know, we got the beer and the wine and all this stuff going on. You think everybody's got to drive home. Well, shit, we do a Zoom deal. Everyone's sitting at home. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to do Uber. You don't have to do anything. You can drink a little extra. You can taste a little more.
I thought it was an interesting concept, so we should explore that a little bit.
All right. So you and I will talk more about that.
Okay.
Yeah, Angie, I like that because, you know, everybody's really thinking outside of the box. You have to. This is how it works. But
yeah,
I just, in my personal opinion, feel that this is going to get extended and to plan something in the fall. We might put in all that effort and not be able to get tents because people can't get together. I just saw there were something about, it was such a glance, you know, different borders, state borders now are not allowing people. I was South Dakota, North Dakota, something like that. But I just
and that's why I said too, if we do a fall fling type of event, we will not be doing a raffle. That way, we don't have to worry about refunded monies. We don't, you know, if we have to cancel, it's much easier to cancel. We don't have to get a permit, you know, a gambling permit and stuff like that. So again, yeah, you're 100% right. All this stuff's up in the air. So you know. The problem with the Zoom, I love the idea of doing Zoom stuff, but it's you know, you don't get the participation as we've seen from our meetings. You know, we get 60, 70, 80 people at our general meetings. Typically we get 20 or so on Zoom. So yeah, we were hoping to do something where we can get together and do social distancing and that type of thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, Kim and I were talking earlier. It's not that I'd love to be involved in more things. I keep getting more invitations to meetings, but after a while, I just want to stay. I don't even want to look at a computer. Like, just none. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
You get Zoom fatigue. I hear you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, all right, Tony is our guest speaker today from eXp Realty, and he's going to talk about marketing. And welcome, Tony.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to do a little screen share here and go through a presentation that I have. And can everyone see my screen okay? I can see you guys. I can see my screen, so that should be a good thing. So anyway, what I do is a presentation. So since I've joined eXp Realty, I do a training within the eXp world. It's a virtual training platform on relationship marketing. And the one thing that I like to kind of go over is a little bit of my background, because people always say, well, what makes you the expert in marketing at all, let alone relationship marketing? So I like to show, and I'm not bragging, but I've owned a ton of different businesses over my career. I started my first business out of high school called Custom Promotions with Promotional Products Company. I've owned a hair salon and tanning studio, a silent partner in a Subway. I'm currently involved in a couple of investment groups. And then I had my real estate brokerage, which at one time had about 15 agents working for it. And so I've been through a lot of different things. So I do have some idea on how to market, and I believe marketing is different for every type of business that you're in. For some people, social media is great. For other, print ad is great. So there's just a lot of variations of it, but I want to go through some of the things that I think are changing as far as, especially for small business owners, how to maintain relationships with people and get that referral business. But living in the Twin Cities, East Metro area my entire life. I've got about 28 years in real estate. Started with Burnett Realty back in the day when I first started. That was before they merged with Caldwell Banker. And then I owned a company with my dad, Metro Suburban Realty. And then I started Beacon Properties. And now just about a year and a half ago, I moved over to eXp. Since I've been with eXp, I'm an Icon agent with them, which is a volume deal that you achieve. I'm also a certified mentor and a certified trainer with them now. So helping them out with some of that stuff. I do a lot of residential real estate, your typical sales and buyers, working with sellers and buyers, and also investment and commercial type of real estate as well. I have 2 children, ages 20 and 23, and I like to travel and ride a motorcycle. So this housekeeping item thing, I'm going to skip through. The only thing I will say, because this is for when I'm in the world doing this, so there's some different things that they can do on their screen, but for you guys, it's just keeping yourself muted. Because background noise oftentimes can create some distractions. So one of the things I want to talk about with marketing is kind of the old way versus the new way. So it's kind of the Blockbuster versus the Netflix, and how things have changed over the years and how we buy services, how we're doing business with people. And in the old days, it was the cold call. You know, and still today, don't get me wrong, we're getting calls, we're getting solicitations, we're getting stuff on the phone, but it's really changed over to where it's more relationship driven. And the goal is to build relationships so people want to take your call, they want to have a conversation with you. You know, competition, it's now more collaboration. We're finding that more and more, I believe, in the real estate industry too, that I find that I'm, you know, working with other agents, we're helping each other, we're sharing ideas, we're doing different things, because it's no, you know, the competition, especially in our industry, is no longer, you know, go after this guy or go with this guy. It's more of who do you know, how do you know them, and what's your relationship with them. More transactional, going from transactional to a relational type of long-term relationships. And the big challenge is how do you stay top of mind with people on a long-term basis? You know, scarcity to abundance. I think there's, like I said, going back to the real estate industry, there's plenty of business to go around. So it's not like we're no longer just out there saying, I got to get this deal. You want to try to build it so you're not having to spend a lot of money on the cold calls and more on the real, like it's the contacts to true connections, having true connections with people and building your business that way. The goals of relationship marketing are basically staying top of mind. You want to increase your value to your customer and also the loyalty of them. And one of the things that I often talk about when it comes to referrals is I think there's two types of referrals. There's a typical referral of someone saying, hey, I know a guy, he's in the business, might not even give you their card or their phone number or anything like that. And then there's the heartfelt referral. And the heartfelt referral is when you have a relationship with somebody that is so strong that they say, you got to use this person. This is the person the only person I would use for this. You got to use them. This is the best person to use. You want to maintain long-term customer engagement, which is, I'm going to go through some tips on how to do that. Your goal is to increase repeat business and referrals from that warm market and kind of creating ambassadors of your brand. So again, you're getting that heartfelt referral and you're getting repeat business from those folks. The reduction in the marketing spend, everyone should know this. It's much more expensive to get a new customer than it is to keep a current customer and get referrals. Referrals, in my opinion, are almost the easiest conversion you can make in your business. So the more of those you can get, the better you are. And then again, that heartfelt referral and just kind of being known as the industry expert is very, very important. So how do you accomplish these goals? First thing is you build contacts, and you do that either through networking, volunteering, social media interaction, different types of things like that, direct mail. That's all the types of things that you can do. One of the things that I've focused on over my career has been the networking and joining organizations. And the one thing I will tell you, whether you're volunteering at church, at some kind of a nonprofit organization, you're networking at business organizations, the key is to show up and show up again and again and again. You have to build relationships with these people. So what I recommend is you pick 3 or 4 things max that you're going to do. And you do those on a regular basis, and you get to know people, you get to know them on a first name basis, and then you stay in touch with them throughout other forms of marketing that I'll talk to you a little bit about. Regularly and purposely reaching out to your clients, your prospects, your sphere, family, and friends. And what I mean by that is interacting with them on a regular basis. So, and I always go back to what I do is like my past clients, I become friends with them on Facebook, friends with them on LinkedIn if they're on LinkedIn. And then when I go in there every day and I stay focused and I go in for 30 minutes a day on both of those, LinkedIn and Facebook, and if I see somebody post something, I respond to it. If somebody announces they just had their first grandchild, I congratulate them. So I do these personal interactions with people. I'm not asking them for business. I'm just doing personal interactions. And then I also use email, I use cards and gifts and different stuff like that to try to stay in touch with people and make sure that I'm staying top of mind with them. I'm acknowledging those special moments. Like I said, they have a grandkid, somebody gets married, even condolences, somebody passes away. To acknowledge that event in their life and let them know that you care is huge. Also, soliciting feedback from your clients is huge. Make sure you've got a system set up, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. Hold client events, create kind of a community within your group of clients, past clients, and prospects. And then create advocacy programs, referral rewards, stuff like that. Now, there are some restrictions in certain industries and states that you can do that, but it's huge if you can acknowledge somebody, even if it's a thank you card, when they do send you a referral. So how to accomplish the goals? So again, networking, chambers, churches, trade groups, social type of clubs, all that kind of stuff. Pick 2 to 4 max. Pick groups that you are passionate about, because eventually you will not go. If you don't enjoy what you're going for, if you don't enjoy the message, if you don't enjoy what they're doing, you're eventually going to not go to those events. So you want to go to them again and again and again and build those relationships. And like it says, show up and attend those events. Social media. So I think social media is a huge tool. It is for me in my business. I think it is for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And use it. Use Facebook, use LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's Instagram. The 2 that I use the most are Facebook and LinkedIn. I have not, my kids have got me set up on an Instagram account, but I do not know how to use it yet. So I'm still kind of learning and working through that process. However, you have to look at your demographic of who your customer is too. And if it's a younger group that's using Instagram more or Twitter more, then that's the thing that you should be going on if that's who your demographic is. Friend request people and request a lot of them. A lot of times people look at Facebook, and here's the challenge. You have this Facebook and it's your personal thing, and do you want to keep it personal or do you want to promote your business on it? You have to make that decision. If you're deciding to promote your business on it, like a lot of people, get a lot of contacts in there, get a lot of people seeing what you're posting, especially on LinkedIn. But then we'll go through a little bit about being careful what you post and how you post. And then post blogs, memes, articles, videos. Video is huge these days. But post stuff that's important to people, stuff that has meaning, stuff that shows you as the professional. So put kind of links to articles, different blogs, stuff like that. The stuff that I have on my screen here is strictly, strictly real estate related. So this is what I use in my program that I do for EXP. But this is a company, Keeping Current Matters. That's a company that I subscribe to. And what they do is they create blogs, they create videos, they do all this stuff, and they automatically post it to my social media sites, so both LinkedIn and to Facebook. So those are automatic. They go on every morning, and at least it kind of keeps me out there. And same with the Lighter Side Inner Circle. That's another one that does the same type of thing. It just allows you to create. You don't have to go in and be the master of creation when you can use these types of programs. And then the other thing that I do a lot of is I play the green dot game on Facebook and LinkedIn. And basically what that is if you go into your Facebook page, if you look over to the right-hand side over here, you're going to see whenever you're on Facebook and you see this list over here, if there's a green dot, that means they're active, that they are currently on Facebook with you. And what I do is every day, I spend 30 minutes a day and I go in and I find people I know, either I went to high school with, I have any kind of connection with that I haven't talked to in a while, and I will message them. And I simply ask them, how are you doing? How are things going in your world? Especially now with COVID. How is your family doing? I hope everybody's safe. But you ask them a question about them so that they respond. And you start this dialogue going on. And then depending upon how that dialogue goes, I will oftentimes ask them to update their contact information with me so then I can put them on a mailing and stuff like that and start creating that interaction with them on an ongoing basis. This is a great tool. And again, then when you're in here too and you see posts of people that things have happened in their lives, comment on it, like it, interact with it, because it makes a huge difference. And you can do the same thing on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has the same thing. They just put their dot in a different spot. So go into LinkedIn, use that thing as well, and it works. This stuff works. This is how you create it. Now, the other thing that you can do, and I want to make sure I get this slide. Yeah, so the other thing that I do a lot of is I send cards and gifts. Now, in all full disclosure, I use a program called Banner Seeds, and I'm actually a resale partner for them. Excuse me, a resale partner for them. But I will tell you, this program allows me to create custom greeting cards, custom brownies. I'll show you some samples of the stuff that I do and I send out to people. And a lot of times this is in response to my Facebook. So I'll see somebody that I know, a past client, they announce, let's say, the birth of a baby. I will download the pictures that they put on Facebook and I will upload them into Banner Season, and I will send a coffee mug. I'll send a greeting card, brownies, whatever that has those pictures on them and congratulating them. And I got to tell you, the impact, the response I get from people is unbelievable. The other thing you can do, there's a ton of programs other than Banner Season out there. So you can go to just Google greeting cards mailed, And there's all kinds of different things that you can do and programs that allow you to do this type of thing. Just that banner season is the one that I found to be the easiest and the cheapest to use. So it's been a really good program for me to use. And then send personal cards and gifts on special events. I have a campaign set up for after closing. So as soon as I'm done with the closing, I just go in, I enter that contact into that campaign, and then they will get 5 cards a year that will automatically be sent out that are customized, like a happy anniversary on when they purchase their home, happy Thanksgiving, that type of stuff. So, but acknowledge things that are going on in people's lives on a personal level. Set up the campaigns that automate the process for you and customize your address book so that you've got groups set up. So if you want to, like if I have past clients, I have, I actually break it down to past sellers and past buyers. And if I want to do a mailing to that entire group, I can just create one mailing and say, send it to that entire group, and it's done. So that's the kind of stuff you want to organize this stuff as best as you possibly can, whether you're using Outlook, no matter what you're using, be able to pull groups of people up. So here are some samples of what I do in the banner season program. So these are just different cards. This one up here on the top left is when a past client of mine had a baby boy. I downloaded the pictures. This is a stock card that comes with banner season, but then I downloaded the inside pictures of the baby. It automatically populates my name. It'll populate their name, so I don't have to go in and customize the card other than downloading the pictures. And I could not download the pictures at all if I didn't want to. There's sympathy cards. This is always room for improvement as part of a campaign, a 2-year campaign for past clients that I use. Whoops, let me go back once here. This one on the right, that's the back of the card. The other thing I'll tell you guys, no matter what you do on this stuff, make it about them. Do not, in the context of the card, put anything about you or your business other than your first name at the bottom of the card. I use the back of the card. You'll see on the far right top. That's where I put my information just to remind them that I'm out there and what I do. But these cards are strictly about them. This one on the bottom left, this is a great quick story, is Brian and Joni were clients of mine about 12 years ago. They purchased the house. They stayed in the house the entire time. All of a sudden on Facebook, Brian announced that Joni had passed away. And I downloaded these pictures. I created this card. I sent it with some brownies to Brian for condolences. Brian ends up calling me, and we had a very emotional conversation for about 30 minutes. And about 3 days later, I got a referral from him that turned into a closed transaction. So don't get me wrong. I'm not doing this stuff. Well, partially you're doing it for business. I do it because I care about Brian. I felt bad for him, but it does work. These are mugs that you can send out. This is a mug right here that I sent out to Spare Key. To be honest with you, I was trying to get them to look at this banner season program to reach out to their donors and stuff. So I created this mug. All these pictures came off of Facebook. So that's the kind of stuff that you can do with these things. Then you can do brownies, and you can customize the brownies, all that kind of stuff. So my point of this all is go in there, find a program that you can use. I know a lot of people like to do the handwritten card, and I'm telling you guys, it's very difficult to do. I mean, it's hard to stay on top of it. This is the next best thing. So find a program like this. There's a program called Send Out Cards out there. There's other ones you can Google. There's a lot of different things like this that you can do. I just like this one particularly because of all the different variations of gifts that I can send out. Like this bottom right one was a COVID package that I was sending out to past clients during the COVID deal. So great response on that. And then here's some more nice to meet you cards. You can also do gifts with with banner season. You can do golf balls and picture frames and these magnets for cars and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different stuff that you can do. The other thing that if you're into direct mail for new clients, one of the other benefits here is you can go in and there's a ton of programs where you can do this, but create custom mailing lists. Find a program where you can go in. This is an example of on a just listed card. I can go in and put an address in, and I can say, I want to look at people a half-a-mile radius within this particular address. And then I can go into the demography, and I can say, I only want renters or homeowners. So here I have homeowners. I want a certain level of income. I want them to have lived in the home at least 3 years. I want them to own a single family home. So you can really narrow this thing down. And then you get a record, a list, and what you do then is upload that list into your program that you're using for mailings. And then you create a mailing, whether it's a postcard, whether it's a greeting card, whatever it might be. and you can start on a regular basis emailing to that list. And the demographics, it's amazing how you can narrow it down. You can narrow it down to people's credit scores, if they're male, if they're female, all kinds of different stuff. So I highly recommend that you get something like that set up and start using something like that. Other things, again, we talked about was soliciting feedback. So, you know, ask people for feedback when you do business with them. I don't care what kind of business you're in. I mean, I know it's a little bit harder if you, like for our Subway store, for example. But even corporate Subway does a great job of going out to people that ordered online and asking for feedback. So try to get feedback, for two reasons. Number one, if it's good feedback, promote it. If it's not, fix it. At least you kind of know what's going wrong and why people might not be happy with what you're doing. Create some kind of a survey, depending upon the type of business that you're in. And if you've got regular ongoing clients, you can do a Survey Monkey or something like that to create surveys. The other thing is create events. There's a ton of different things you can do, annual or semi-annual events. Obviously with COVID, this is a little bit thrown off kilter here, but this, you know, things do come back and are going to come back. So do these types of things. You know, in the spring, you can do Arbor Day or tree giveaways. The city of Oakdale does it. Summer picnics, you can grill hot dogs and hamburgers, you know, give pumpkins away in the fall, that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. And even during COVID, you can do the giveaway type of stuff, and it's kind of cool because you have people drive by and you hand them their poinsettia or whatever it is you're giving them out for that particular event. People love participating in that. And then the referral program, I highly recommend doing a referral program. But again, make sure you're sticking to your laws and your regulations and the different things that govern whatever industry you're in to make sure that you can do that. But what I'll do a lot of times, send out a $25 gift card to Best Buy or something like that, just to kind of allow people to acknowledge thank you. But even if it's just a card, thank people for doing business with you. That's actually what I've got as far as my presentation goes. So I'd like to open it up for questions. I whipped through that super quick. Usually this is about a 45-minute presentation. So I'd love to entertain any questions that anyone has. Come on, gang.
I'm just going to chime in. Great job, Tony. And yes, let's do some questions. Or if you have any, we do have 10 minutes. Any other suggestions for marketing or relationship building? I see, you know, like Eric, I know you're in the business of that. And I know, Ben, you do great newsletters. So I'm going to let you guys all just chime in or raise your hand and go ahead.
Well, I just kind of reiterate everything that Tony said is my only advice, it's not the one thing that you do in marketing, it's all of the little things that you do in marketing. Because when you're talking about reaching your customers, everybody wants to be reached out to in a different way. It might be social media, it might be a mass mailing, it might be an email, it might be, you know, all of these different things. In our business, we call it running a drip campaign, where we're just dripping little bits of things onto people. You know, and I think the best thing that Tony said in that whole thing is, it's not about always selling. It's about getting to know people and just building relationships. And I think that really ties back into what we do as a chamber as well. I mean, it's, you know, some of the biggest deals that I ever got came from not even trying, just from trying to be friends with somebody. So thank you, Tony. Those are all really good reinforcements for me as well.
Yeah, and I agree with your comments. It's huge, and the type of stuff, and the drip campaigns are huge. You know, the goal, especially in our industry. I mean, in your industry, people might come back to you more often. In ours, it's 5 to 7 years before they're going to possibly have a need again to use our service. So how are we staying top of mind with them? And unless you have some kind of an automated program to do it, and my personal opinion is email is one way to do it, but it's not the only. You cannot only be emailing people. You have to spread this thing out, figure out different ways of doing it. And it got and Eric, one of the things you do too is you can do one-offs of shirts and different types. I love gifts. I love the coffee mugs. I love all the stuff that I can send to people. People love getting that stuff. But Eric is a great resource for things like apparel, you know, different stuff like that, where you just want to do a one-off and package it and send it to somebody. I think that's a huge deal. There you go, right there. Custom masks.
Hey, if you're gonna let me plug it, I'm gonna do it.
Well, yeah, I'm opening the door for you here, buddy.
So I'm finding it interesting that I am now having kids so their parents lived here 20 years ago. Now the kids are moving in. And whenever they call me or they stop in and tell me who their mom or dad was here, because I've been here the whole time, I pretty much know who's been through this building. And I'll always look at them, I'll say, well, you guys aren't old enough. And they'll look at me and say, Kim, we're 88.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that now, because they had a good experience with us, now they want to move in 20 years later. Crazy.
So Kim, do you guys, now you're a great example of that exact thing of wanting to stay in touch and in front of people, because it could be 10, 15, 20 years before either they need your service or they have another relative or somebody that needs your service. So do you guys have like a drip campaign? What do you guys do to maintain that relationship with people?
I do kind of like what Eric said. We do everything. So what I'm finding now during COVID though is the personal phone calls. The interesting part of that though is they don't want to get off the phone. I've been finding that I'm just not having enough hours in the day because they're not taught. Now I'm talking seniors who are in their homes that they haven't talked to anybody for so long. So I've learned lots of things about them.
You know, and that's a great point too, you guys. The stuff that I presented here is more of automated things that you can do that are still personal. The phone call, the live interaction, is number one. I mean, you know, especially during these times. But you're right, it can take a lot of time out of your day, so you better schedule it in. Who else got some stuff to share that they're doing?
Position here in terms of, you know, my customers, it's such a one-on-one, and I go to weddings and funerals and wakes and everything, and I'm doing their kids. I've had I'm in my third generation of customers, just from being nice to people, I think is probably my one thing. And I'm okay with them, and we're good. I'm almost like friends, but I go to everything: weddings, funerals, baptisms, anything.
Well, Frank, now you're a great example too of the fact that those people, now funerals you can go to no matter what, but like weddings, you have to be invited, right?
I am invited.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have that relationship with your clients that they're inviting you to their kids' weddings and stuff, and that's phenomenal.
Exactly right.
And again, you're in a different situation too, though, where your clients need to see you at least once a month. So you build that personal one-on-one relationship with them that is so strong and so important, you know.
When you have customers going 20, 30 miles to get a haircut from me, I mean, I would never do it, but, you know, good for, it's okay. It's all right.
I don't even go 1 mile. No, I'm just kidding. You know,
I have one customer that comes all the way up from Prior Lake, and I keep telling him, I wouldn't do it if I were you, but, you know, what the heck, he likes me.
You know, and the other thing about the funerals and stuff, you guys, is that is something that you can show up at, right? So I have done that for people that I haven't, you know, I have a very loose relationship with, like, you know, and if I can show up at their grandpa's funeral or something, I will go in, pay my condolences, say hi to them. It means a ton if you can do it. So again, just another example.
Following you up, Tony, that's super important, and you might not think it is, but I have gotten numerous cards and thank yous and gifts over the years from families saying, you came to my dad's wake or you went to my mom's funeral. And not that I like it all the time, because it can be really sad sometimes. And I've probably been to 600 funerals in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But it makes a difference to them. They really do find it important if they see you. Or even if they don't see you, if they see your name in the book.
Well, and the other thing, like I said, is if you can't do it, when you see them post, everybody's posting now on Facebook. My grandma passed away. She was a straight person, right? You got the information there. Send them a condolences card. I mean, just that alone, the fact that you take the time to do that is huge.
So as one who reads the obituaries every day, I find lots of my waitlist people in there. So I'll send their family a card saying, we couldn't get you here, but I appreciated your mom or your dad. Or
Now, this Corona thing is really throwing a wrench in that. I mean, people are dying. You can't even go to a wake. You can't go to the family. You can't do anything. You know, if you read the obituaries in the paper, there's always going to be a service later.
Yeah.
I mean, by that time, you'll forget who they were. It's going to be so far down the road.
It's sad. Same with weddings,
too. It is terrible.
I'm not seeing nearly as many weddings anymore either, obviously. So.
Yep, weddings, too.
Kim, you want to cut us off? Are you trying to cut it? I can see you just eagerly wanting to get in.
I didn't mean to look like that. No, I gotta watch my facial expressions on these things. To be honest, I was excited to ask you how you think that our Chamber of Commerce or other chambers of commerce can put some of these tools to work. We are also selling memberships, and we are trying to increase engagement, and we want to hold on to our current members and get referrals to new members. So what kinds of things can we do?
Well, I think, again, I still am a huge fan of that personal relationship, right? So when you guys get information on your members, even, get their birthday, month and day of their birthdays, and send them out a birthday card on their birthday. Do different types of stuff that's more of a personal connection. Keep an eye on Facebook and LinkedIn, and when they do announce that a loved one has passed away, try to reach out to them in some way that way. Because what you guys do a really good job at is email marketing. You almost do too good of a job at it, because a lot of times there's so much email going out that people kind of, as you know how it is now with email, people are glancing over that stuff and they're not necessarily looking at it as closely as you wish that they would.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, again, my whole focus is on relationship marketing, and I think it's about acknowledging people, acknowledging what's going on in their lives, commenting, even if it's a comment on Facebook. Hey, I'm sorry to hear about your grandma. I mean, the fact that you took the time, you read the post, and you commented on it is something. But I think for chambers, you guys could probably do a little better job of reaching out on that personal events that are going on in people's lives.
Yeah, thank
you. I'm going to tell you one thing that Paul Ranke did. About 6 weeks into our lockdown, he called me. He said, "Kim, what can we do for you? What can I do?" And so I gave him a list of all the people's names, just their first name. He wrote a handwritten card to everyone from the city of Oakdale with his logo and things on it. Oh my gosh, you would have thought these guys went to heaven.
Yep.
The mayor wrote me, and they were all handwritten. Now, whether they were by him or not, I don't know, but they were thrilled. And I have seen since then some of those hanging on their refrigerators.
Yeah. It's huge, you guys. It's huge. It really is. It's people love that acknowledgement. They just love that kind of stuff.
Is William our candidate taking notes there on that?
Yeah, it's funny. This is almost serendipitous. So this is beyond my candidacy. I'm a software engineer for a startup called Drip that does email marketing automation with a focus on building those deeper relationships with people for e-commerce companies. So all of this is like deeply meaningful to my daily work. Actually, I'm gonna if it's okay with you, Tony, I'm gonna pass your information on to some folks at my company and see if you can do this presentation for us, because so much of what you talked about directly relates to the types of things we're trying to build and make possible. We're one of those companies that builds that allows you to do those automated campaigns. And right now we focus mostly on email. We're branching into SMS, but we're also trying to think how we can be more holistic in all of this. So this is a really, really interesting presentation, even beyond the campaign.
Good. Yeah, and I'd be happy to share it with
we
anybody.
look forward to your membership.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
I'm
supposed
just going to close this sale right now.
to send him some brownies first.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So anybody else? We're a couple minutes over our 12:30 mark, and I know your time is valuable. So is there anything else or questions? And everyone, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share these programs I'm using, give you some ideas on how I'm using them, how I set up my group lists, all that kind of stuff. And I think I've got enough knowledge in all different industries. Like William, you talked about, I can go into an industry and help you, configure it for your business. Doesn't have to be that you're in real estate or anything like that. So feel free to reach out to me on any of that stuff. Holly, anything else that you got?
Yeah, no, again, Tony, appreciate all the years of knowledge, and I'm just like very, very, I don't know what the word is, happy, impressed with all of our board members and all their talents. And this alone was for our speaker. Tony's a board member, but reaching out to everybody also, like, now let's think ahead for August. And if you have a skill, a talent, or something you specialize that you feel would be of value to share amongst ourselves, I'd love to either hear from you or let Kim know. Thank you everybody for coming, of course. And like I always say, be well, be kind, be safe. that's all I have today. So thank you for joining the meeting.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here.
Yep.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Well done,
Bye.
Tony. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Frank.